Hi guys, this is gsnom.com and I'm here with the review of the Meizu Pro 6 Plus. It's a bit of an oldie but still a goldie. This handset we're dealing with here has been unveiled at the end of 2016. I know it's a bit old, but it has the same specs as the Galaxy S7, at least the CPU, and the price tag is a crazy $199 at Lightinthebox.com. That's how they're selling it. So it's basically Galaxy S7, which is priced at double that amount, and it's got a 10 LED flash and a metal body and a pretty powerful CPU. It's got a bit of a controversial software. It's Flame OS on top of Marshmallow, and it's still Marshmallow even after all those years. Available in gold, silver or gray. The phone is quite slim. It's got a premium build made of metal. It's actually very light for a 5.7 incher, 158 grams is pretty nice. We got those antenna cutouts here like the iPhone 7. It has a pretty good grip. It's a solid foam, but it's also a bit wide, so not exactly very easy to use with a single hand. Still, nice grip and nice feedback from the buttons, including the home one, which you can see here. So nice build and good looking. We go further to the display, which is a very pleasant surprise. 5.7 inch Super AMOLED Quad HD resolution, and it's even got some sort of 3D touch, so you can press with various levels of pressure on various apps and icons from here, and you'll be able to get a variety of features. Now, this 5.7 inch screen has been put to the test by us, and let's see what happened when we did that. So we got our test video here, and the integrated video player offers you a pop-up play feature. Now let's actually analyze the image. So vivid colors, excellent brightness, good contrast and wide view angles, as you probably expected from a Super AMOLED panel. Now let's see what other things we have here. So we did a bunch of tests as we usually do, and this is the pixel arrangement under the microscope. It's pentile matrix, not bad, and the brightness was actually crazy good, 609 lux units, which is a champion. It's actually on the 10th spot. It's in our top 10, beats the Sony Xperia XZ2, it beats the Galaxy S7 Edge, is the equal of the Xiaomi Mi 6, scores below the Huawei P20 Pro and the OnePlus 3. Now, with all that aside, we also have some useful settings for the screen. We got here display and brightness, we got auto brightness, we got your font size, we got your color temperature, which can be warmer or cooler, always on display, which is actually a thing here. And that's about it. Pretty satisfied by this experience. Now, speaking of experiences that content us, we got here a CPU that's familiar. Is the Exynos 8890 from the Galaxy S7, accompanied by 4 GB of RAM and of the LPDDR4 variety, and 64 or 128 GB of storage, and sadly no micro SD card slot. Now, this handset does not suffer from lag. I know it's stuck at Marshmallow, but believe me, no lag whatsoever, and that's kind of nice. And we also played the game on it. It's called Riptide. You can play PUBG on it with no problem. So I played Riptide, I played Friday the 13th, Killer Puzzle, I played Darkness Rising, which is a pretty intense game, and I also did a bunch of benchmarks. You should be aware that this phone is about on par with maybe a Huawei P9 or the Sony Xperia Z5 Premium. It beats the HTC U11 Live in Antutu 7, scores below the Zenfone 5, of course. So the high mid-rangers of the 2018 beat it, but the older handsets not. It's basically on par with the other 2016 flagships, if not a bit better. So in Geekbench 4, for example, it beats the Galaxy A8 2018, which is actually not bad, scores below the iPhone 7 still. Okay, we're done with the gaming, we're done with the benchmarks. Keep in mind that in Slingshot, it even beats the Huawei P10 Plus. Okay, so we also did a temperature test to see if it overheats or not, and we only have good news. So here you can see 34.3 degrees Celsius achieved in Riptide, the game you saw before, and we did another test and achieved 37.1 degrees Celsius in GFX Bench, so there's no overheating here. Now, on the battery front, we're dealing with a handset that uses a 3400 mAh lithium-ion unit, which should be pretty solid for this diagonal. And let's see what our screenshots unveiled. So we did a battery test, and let's see how that panned out. So our battery test involves continuous HD video playback, like you were watching Netflix. And we achieved 11 hours and 14 minutes. This surpasses the HTC U12 Plus and the iPhone 8, but scores below the Galaxy S7, S7 Edge and the Xiaomi Mi 5. We also did a continuous usage test 9 hours and 11 minutes, which is actually not bad. It's solid. It beats the Huawei Mate 8, also the Motorola Moto X4, Xperia XZ2, and the Google Pixel 2 XL, as well as even the Galaxy S7. On the charging front, we get to 1 hour and 45 minutes, which is just okay. We also like to do step-by-step charging, so after 5 minutes the phone was at 6%, after 15 minutes at 23%, and after 1 hour 88%, which is actually quite solid. Now if you go to the settings here, we also have special settings for the battery. So we go here, battery, we got low power mode and super saving mode available. Low power mode turns off some of the Bluetooth, GPS, sound, haptic feedback, while super saving mode makes you use a black and white interface and only offers the basic features. I'm actually pretty impressed by this battery. Now we move on to acoustics. We only have a singular speaker here at the bottom with lots of little holes. And I have to say I'm already satisfied by the experience. I have to say it's quite loud. So here we go. And we also have an equalizer, should be here somewhere. Equalizer, these are the options used basically with headphones attached. We don't have bundled headphones. We got 5 custom channels and genre settings. Now the actual experience was loud and clear. The phone doesn't vibrate, there is no distortion. I love the bass, I love the minimalistic application, and pretty good voice and high notes. Now we're done with the equalizer. Let's see some decibels, because we have a special measurement of that. We have a tool which measures decibels. 85.2 decibels achieved at the front and the back of the phone with a typical audio sample. It's better than Nokia 8 and the Pixel 2 XL, scores below the OnePlus One and the Xiaomi Redmi 5 Plus. Now we did another test in the game Riptide, 99.2 decibels, pretty solid, above the Huawei P10, the Pixel 2 XL, below the Nokia 6.1 and the Motorola Moto E4. And this phone is also hi-fi sound capable, so if you really go around here, you'll find some options related to hi-fi sound, auto, low gain, high gain, line out, so that's basically it. On the camera front, things are pretty simple. There's a 12 megapixel shooter at the back with something interesting, a 10 LED flash here, so there are 10 LEDs here, 4-axis optical image stabilization, f2.0 aperture, and this laser focus mechanism. So singular camera at the back, 12 megapixel, and 5 megapixel shooter at the front. I know it's rather modest, but you'll see that some selfies are quite okay. The camera UI is very straightforward, very minimalistic. These are some of its options. We got macro, panorama, GIF, Pro, time-lapse, scan, and light field, plus even makeup. We leave that aside and we go straight to the gallery to see what's happening here. So in the gallery we have quite a few shots. We have actually many of them. Let's see a better organized way. Okay, so that's it. These are shots taken during the daytime. And here we go. I started off with a normal shot, then I zoomed in and also played about with the HDR. One of the best HDRs I've seen lately. The zoom is not that impressive, so details aren't paramount here. This is HDR without and with. I would say that the selfies are quite okay, but if you turn on the beauty mode, your face will feel like a doll, like Pinocchio, so not realistic. I recommend you turn it off and enjoy more normal selfies with a more normal skin. For a 5 megapixel camera, it's okay. Now back to the shots. It takes some excellent close-ups, especially if you turn on the macro mode. These are actually good macros, to be honest. I would say the colors are good, but sometimes you will meet with a bit of oversaturation, and other times there's that lack of gloss, as if the photos were a bit washed out. They're not washed out, they're quite solid, but once again, they're either oversaturated or, let's say, undersaturated because they're lacking the special gloss. Several more selfies with better face texture, and the beauty mode totally exaggerates with making your skin white and so forth. In general, I was happy with the clarity. We don't have blurred shot, missed shots, artifacts or other problems. Not impressed by the zoom yet again, and the panorama has a resolution of 7966 over 2356. It's rather modest, but still okay. Once again, the HDR is the standout point here, as well as the macros. One more, you can see the water drop here. Actually, not bad details, but I've seen better on other phones. Some other crazy good macros. I would put this on par at times with the iPhone 7, maybe even the Galaxy S7, but not as accurate in colors, or also a bit of the Zenfone 4. And aside from this slight oversaturation and the lack of gloss, things are pretty solid, especially for $200. These are daytime shots. Let's go to the nighttime shots because we also did those, and let's see what happened there. So we got night pics here, and I have to say, not hugely impressed. This was a mid-ranger. This is a mid-ranger now, but it was a flagship then in 2016, and the flash makes things red instead of whiter. So I actually prefer this one without the flash instead of this one with the flash on, making things red with those 10 LEDs. Some pretty decent colors, but the brightness is certainly not on par even with the mid-rangers from nowadays. f2.0 aperture isn't enough. Still, the clarity is pretty good. We don't have artifacts or strange colors during the night, so there's that. Not bad street light halos, they're not overblown, so that's a plus. It's actually not bad for a 2016 phone. I know it's dark, but I've seen much worse from that time period, and sometimes it actually feels superior to the Asus Zenfone 4 from last year. Okay, that's about it. I guess it's time to talk about the videos we've taken with this handset, and boy, we have a lot of stuff here. This is one of my favorite clips, a bunch of bugs munching on some fruit. This phone has optical image stabilization. It doesn't have the best stabilization in the world, but it does the job it has to do. You can take MP4 videos in Full HD or 4K, 30 frames per second. The bitrate is not very impressive, 12 mega per second, and I've seen 70 mega per second on other phones, 17. The zoom is decent. Every once in a while I met with some refocus, so keep that in mind when filming. Okay, another video here. I have to say that in 4K, if you want to focus on 4K, you'll be very happy with the results. You'll be on par with the iPhone 7, maybe even the iPhone 8 and other flagships, so 4K is the way to go. In Full HD, the details will be lost in the distance. There's also a slight bit of burn of the image, and overall the experience felt like the LG G5 or the LG G6 level, maybe also the Zenfone 4. That's during the day. We also have a video in motion. We're walking around, testing the stabilization, and this is it. Once again, not the best in the world, but also not the worst. Be assured you'll see it in the full review. Okay, now I want to check out the nighttime samples, because we also have some videos during the night, and let's see where they went. So we took some videos during a bunch of concerts, and I was actually pretty impressed by the quality you're getting here. I'm talking about the microphone, I'm talking about the clarity and the colors, not half bad. So in spite of the powerful bass, the phone handles it like a champ. Zero problems here. So if it's concert you're after, this is the phone for you in low light conditions. Not a bad stabilization, okay level of yellow, and a bit dark, yes I know, but for the price tag it's satisfying, and for a 2016 phone it's actually good. Now we go further, we go here to the Chrome web browser, and let's access gsndome.com. Here we go. A decent speed, I would say. Decent benchmarks as well. This is the keyboard used for input. It also knows swipe. When it comes to the connectivity, you got your audio jack, you got your USB Type-C port, you got dual SIM slots, 4G LTE, Wi-Fi A, B, G, and AC, Bluetooth 4.1. There's GPS, AGPS, GLONASS, and NFC should also be here. At least it's promised on paper, but in real life it's not actually present. The calls are loud and clear, and we also have a speed dial, and we did a bunch of tests for the connectivity, and let's see what came out of that. So we go to the screenshots, we got your tests here. Pretty impressive, 291 mega per second in download and 26.6 mega per second in upload. That's on Wi-Fi. Sadly, the speed test would not support 4G for some reason. Now the software experience is very minimalistic. It's Flame OS on top of Marshmallow. Nothing to say here except that they stripped everything to the bone. There was no Play Store, there was no Gmail. I had to download them myself. They're proposing their own app store where you can get your applications. Things are very minimalistic, and also the controls are different. We have something interesting here. So we have a home button, which works as a home button, as a fingerprint scanner. And if you want to do multitasking, you swipe up and you have those cards, which is something we haven't seen in a long time. Now, if you want to do a back button press, you tap here. That's the back button. slightly tapping on this and pressing it is the home. So that's it. Swipe, tap and press. We also have the 3D touch, as I mentioned before. Depending on your strength of touch, you will be activating various features. And we also have the fingerprint scanner, which I'm going to put to the test right now. So you go here, you put in a password, you continue, you retype it, put the finger here. In a pretty lengthy setup process. Okay, so apparently we're done. And let's see just how fast you can unlock it. Just so, not the best precision in the world, and also not the fastest in the world, but it does its job eventually. Okay, as I said before, the interface is hugely minimalistic. You're going to keep it here pressed. You got your widgets, you got your wallpapers, and you got your settings. Speaking of settings, we go here. If you swipe down, you got notifications and quick settings, some of them very useful. And here you can find the connectivity settings, notification and status bar, do not disturb. There's personalization if you want to tweak your appearance. You got an easy mode, you got a fingerprint, you got the Meizu account, language and time, accessibility, you got the task manager, you can open it like that, gestures, smart touch, 3D press, which is basically the 3D touch, and also kit space, app cloner. You got a gaming mode with game acceleration and do not disturb, which is quite useful, M-charge, smart cover, M-charge juices up the phone faster. And that's about it. As far as the pre-installed apps go, it's a crazy number, something like 16 or 15. No Play Store, you have to get your own Google Play services here, and that may be a bummer for some people. Now it's time for the verdict. This is the Meizu Pro 6 Plus. It certainly feels like a Pro and a Plus for 2016. Keep in mind, I'm always going to repeat, it's a 2016 phone. The attributes, the positive ones, are, so we have the excellent price tag, the solid design, excellent screen, good battery, nice performance, pretty good pictures and videos, especially the concert ones, nice selfies. It's a slim phone, it's also pretty light. It's got okay acoustics and fast charging, reasonably fast charging. Now on the con side, it just runs on Android Marshmallow. The fingerprint scanner isn't exactly precise all the time. Doesn't have all the pre-installed Google stuff you may want. Some of the pictures were a bit oversaturated, and we don't have waterproofing, we don't have stereo speakers. The video capture is so-so compared to the pictures, but if you stick with 4K, you should be happy. At $199 on Lightinthebox, this is an offer you can hardly beat. It's basically the Galaxy S7 in a different package. Similar screen, the same CPU, same amount of RAM, and very good battery. You can fight the Nokia 7 Plus with this phone, the Motorola Moto X4, and it kind of surpasses the Galaxy A8 2018 in some regards. So at $199, one of the best buys out there, but keep in mind that the software may not be for everyone. This is from gsrome.com. Bye bye.